Atomic Mass Games have now finally given us the Battle Force command cards and the requirements that you need to follow if you want to field them. So let's jump in and show you those. First things first, if you go on the website, you'll see in this section here Battle Force documents, and it has all 5 of them listed. Obviously, we have already seen the Shadow Collective one, which is currently what's on screen, so we're not necessarily going to go through that very much, okay? And then we'll just go through in order. So the first one we're looking at here is the Separatists. Now, the key thing to be looking at here is the allowed unit and the rank requirements. So let's get to that. I'm not just going to sit here and read them for you. Pretty much the commanders are what you would expect. Operative is more interesting. Special Forces, Magna Guard. You're only allowed B1, you're not allowed B2 battle droids. Droidicas and STAP, and you're only allowed the AAT tank, right? And the reason that's important is when we have a look at the ranks, which I'll just scroll down to show you. Again, I'm not going to read them all, but one of the key things here is in the heavy section, you must include 1 to 2 heavy units. So you must include one of the AATs. Pretty straightforward, but pretty interesting. Then let's have a look at the command cards for the Separatists. The 1 pip, it's a heavy support or support unit. Each friendly unit that is issued an order using this card gains 1 standby token. Pretty straightforward, pretty cool. The 2 pip, 2 core units. After a friendly core unit performs a range attack, if it spent 1 or more aim tokens, another friendly unit at range 1 to 2 may gain 1 aim token, basically allowing you to daisy chain your aim tokens. Pretty decent again. The 3 pip is Unstoppable Advance, and you can give this to 3 core. Each friendly unit that is issued an order using this card may perform a speed 1 move. Spicy, tasty, nice. This all seems pretty cool, pretty in line with what we'd expect, right? The only surprise being, I think, that you have to take 1 heavy tank, but fair enough. Then we move on to the Republic. We do have confirmation that it is Clone Captain Rex. You're only allowed phase 2 clone troopers, not phase 1s, and you're only allowed ARC troopers without it being strike team. Pretty interesting. Now, on the rank requirements here, you're not required to take a tank. You're only allowed 1 to 4 core units. You must include a unit of ARC troopers basically, and a maximum of 4, but you do need to include a support unit. Pretty sure we've already seen these command cards, so I'm not going to go over them. I think they were the ones that were revealed from like one of the streams. They were pretty okay. The Rebels next. Pretty interesting stuff that you're really allowed just the Rebel veterans rather than any of the other core. I guess it makes sense. FD laser cannon and tauntauns, Earth speeder, and that's pretty much it, right? It's important here to realize that again, you must include 1 support, but the heavies are free. So you have to include an FD laser cannon or a tauntaun rider basically, or a unit of tauntaun riders, I guess technically is the phrase. The 1 pip is delaying tactics. At the end of the command phase, your opponent must choose one of the non-commander units that has a face-up order token, if able, and return it to the order pool. Basically, they have to pick the one that they are least bothered about and put it back in their tool, and they won't get to control that unit. Don't think that's all that strong, but maybe I'm missing something there. Courage of the Rebellion. Each friendly unit that is issued an order using this card may recover. Pretty cool, pretty standard. Hold at any cost is the 3 pip for 3 core units. Each friendly core unit gains 1 aim token. Each friendly emplacement trooper gains 1 standby token. That's pretty nice. Now, the Imperials are actually one of the more interesting ones, simply because you get a new unit, sort of. The commander is either Vader or Veers or the Imperial officer. I still would have liked to have seen Veers in the box, but it's okay. Snow troopers, and then it's a 0 to 2 stormtroopers, which I'll show you what they are in a minute, because I don't think they're your standard stormtroopers. I think you have to take the ones listed below. Although, does it technically say that? I wonder if you can include the normal unit of stormtroopers. We'll come back to that in a minute. Speeder bikes and the E-Web and an ATST. Oh, I've not been talking about the ranks for the skirmish, obviously, but there are slightly different requirements if you want to run these in skirmish. But for the normal one, pretty standard for the courts and the commanders, you must include at least 1 support, and the heavy, again, you don't have to include the ATST. So let's have a look at the command cards first. The 1 pip, Unrelenting Fire. Enemy units cannot remove more than 1 suppression token during their rally step. That on its own, I don't think necessarily sounds all that strong, but when you consider that the whole thing seems to be around suppressive and suppression, then it sort of makes sense. The 2 pip is Overwhelming Barrage. Once this round, at the end of the activation of a friendly Special Forces unit, it may perform an attack using the following weapon. It's 4 black dice, blast, beam, immune to deflect, suppressive, range 4 to infinity, surges to hit. That's pretty good, right? You know, the suppressive as well, you could do that and then make it so they can't take the suppression off. Pretty cool. And even with the 3 pip, you could go 3 pip into the 1 pip, because each friendly core trooper that has issued an order using this card gains spur. That's going to be good. That's going to let your snow troopers get a little bit of the skates on and get moving. And then weapons of each friendly core trooper unit that is issued an order using this card gains suppressive. If you give that to 3 snow troopers, they might be getting in and doing some serious work. So the they're coming at you quickly. And then let's have a look at the new unit basically. So I don't know if these are the ones that have to be included. It sort of sounds like you would be able to take the normal stormtroopers, but you could also maybe take this unit. I don't see anywhere that says it has to be the heavy support stormtroopers, but maybe I'm just being a bit crazy and I can't see it. Anyway, let's have a look at the unit. There's 2 cards here because you could print them twice. I guess I don't know why you couldn't just print the same one twice, but I guess it's easy just to have it on one sheet. And one of the keywords here is that it's flexible response 2, which means you then have to equip 2 of the heavy weapons, right? You don't have a choice in that. So for me, this is probably mostly worth it if you have the Stormtrooper pack upgrade. Like, I actually don't have that at the minute. So if I wanted to take this, I'd have to take the big, I can't really remember the name of it, the big rocket launcher and the DLT. Not that great for me, basically, until I buy 2 of those expansions. You get Precise 1, which is pretty standard. All the weapons and stuff are the same. You get Unhindered though, which is nice. And it says Special Issue Blizzard Force. This unit may only be included in the Blizzard Force, so you can't use it anywhere else. But that's not to say that you have to use these as part of the 0 to 2 Stormtroopers. So you could probably take a normal unit of Stormtroopers, I think. But pretty interesting, nice little change. Now, for me, there's a big question of whether or not it's actually worth deliberately, essentially nerfing yourself to fitting in these requirements just to get the command cards. My instinct says probably not, unless you're specifically running a list that's very similar to one of the battle forces anyway. So for example, if I wanted to go to a tournament and run Vader and some snowtroopers, which I have done before because I just wanted to and I found it kind of fun, well, now it might be worth, well, actually, if I could do that and take these cards, maybe that now gives me a little bit of extra firepower and a little bit of extra reason to do so. But for some of the other factions, I'm not sure if you're nerfing yourself too hard to fit into the requirements to make the command cards not worth it. I guess only time will tell when the meta slaves and the meta adorers get on that, which I no longer include myself in that category, even though I would love to. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Have a most beautiful day. Like and subscribe. Goodbye.